The idyllic calm of the island of Rügen, off Germany's Baltic Sea coast. Today rudely interrupted by the classic sound of a classic East German automobile. During the communist era, the roads here were dominated by the rattling of two-stroke engines. Wartburgs, Melkus, Simpsons, MZs, or that most iconic East German car, the Trabant. Our classic car expert Christoph Bauer feels a bit sorry for the good old Trabi. It spent decades pottering along the roads of East Germany, choking pedestrians with its exhaust, but getting an entire country on the move. And in return, it was ridiculed. Some automotive milestone. When the first Trabant was launched in 1957 under the name P50, it could hold its own against West German models. Its 13 kilowatts may not have been a threat to the Goggomobil or the VW Beetle, but the latter certainly didn't leave its eastern cousins in the dust, at least not until later. The model Christoph's driving is the P601. Built in 1990, it was one of the last Trabis ever made. The engine hadn't changed since 1969, a two-stroke unit with 600 cc's and just 26 horsepower. Not exactly state-of-the-art as the 1990s dawned. The communist revolution was deemed more important than any automotive evolution. Cars essentially remained all about function rather than form. The Trabi's design barely moved on after 1964, and its engine setup soon became outdated. In the West, two-stroke engines were primarily associated with motorbikes and lawnmowers. But the Trabi was ideal for East Germans vacationing in neighboring communist countries. The antiquated leaf springs coped with bumpy pavement, and a top speed of 110 kilometers per hour was enough on many Eastern European roads. It didn't get you there fast, but it got you there. Christoph says the Trabi's body earned it a variety of derogatory names involving cardboard or plastic. The material in question was Duroplast, a hard composite substance born of necessity. There was a shortage of sheet metal in East Germany. The West stopped supplying steel in the wake of the Cold War trade embargo, and Christoph says the material provided by the Soviet Union wasn't exactly top quality. Despite the Duroplast, the Trabi was still prone to rust, due to the metal shell underneath the composite skin. S stands for Sachsenring, the state-owned company that built the Trabant. VEB Sachsenring was based in the city of Zwickau in Saxony. The Trabi's tail fins were inspired by the American cruisers of the 1950s. In 1964, the body's double trapezoidal design was highly modern. It remained unchanged through 1990. The interior was on the Spartan side, a steering wheel, 2 dials, and 4 seats, garnished with a smattering of knobs and a few square feet of felt fabric. Under the hood was the 2-cylinder 2-stroke engine with a 0.6-liter displacement and that familiar putt-putt sound. Christoph is checking out the Trabant S model. S for sporty? No. It too has the standard 2-stroke engine with 26 horsepower. The S stands for Sonderwunsch, or special option. The optional extra in this case is a little compartment under the dashboard. There's no fuel tank display, however. That was only available in the deluxe version. The standard model came with a dipstick. It looks like the tank's still got a bit of juice in it.
In dem Fall reicht's noch für ein paar Kilometer.
After a promising start, the Trabant P601 had the potential to keep pace with the Western European competition. But it enjoyed precious little technical evolution in the course of its 24-year production run. The communist leadership believed such modernization was superfluous. Christoph says the communist planned economy didn't plan very far. Functionaries gave the Trabi an expected lifetime of just 7 years, particularly frustrating when there was a 12-year waiting list to get one. In fact, Trabis lasted an average of 28 years on East German roads. The car's big advantage was its simple engineering, which meant people could fix things themselves. Except the waiting list for spare parts was also extremely long. Many drivers would give their proud possession a real waxing and pampering even before taking it out on its maiden run. At the back of their minds was the thought of the dreaded waiting list to get a replacement. But Christoph feels the Trabi was something of a technical pioneer and may not have been the first series production car with a composite body. That honor went to the Corvette. But with 3.2 million units built, it enjoyed the highest production. So it deserves to be called a milestone in automotive history. So if you can cope with the two-stroke technology and also have a soft spot for old-school purism, you could do worse than try out a Trabi. After all, what other modern classics can you get in decent condition these days for under 3,000 euros?